Hi everyone, my name is Richard Hicks and I'm the sales director here at 25 Park Row. We're sitting in the beautiful lobby of 25 Park Row and I have the pleasure of being joined by Rachelle Friedman.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thanks for asking. And thank you for spending the time with us and taking the time to indulge our viewers with a lot of information about the building and yourself. Rachelle Friedman is one of the principal sponsors of 25 Park Row along with L&M Development Company. And today we're here, she's going to spend some time with us and tell us about the music industry and how she ended up making the foray from the music business into the development world. So I'll jump right in. Rachelle, I want to ask you, how did you wind up in the music industry and as such a leader of the Music Business Association, along the way breaking glass ceilings and becoming a woman CEO in a day when there weren't that many? What was that like?
It was very difficult, to be truthful. Those were, it was about 40 years ago, and you really didn't see women CEOs. We started, I was a junior in college at Polytech University, which is one train stop away from here. My husband was an electrical engineer a couple of blocks away from here, and we decided to open up JNR really as a part-time endeavor to make some extra money. And being a woman in a male-dominated business, we're in the electronics business, computer business, music business. It was all male-dominated. It was difficult, but you held your head up high. You tried to overcome some of the comments that were made. You went to conventions, and at the time it was Playboy bunnies handing out all the brochures. And a lot like what you saw in Mad Men. And one day, for example, we were on the block and my husband said, we have to buy 15 Park Row. We're opening up a new store there. Let's go buy it. So I go into the meeting and the guy is waiting there, sitting, staring at me. And then he goes, well, where's your husband? I said, my husband's not here. He says, well, how are we going to negotiate if he's not here? I said, well, that's not what he does. He does other things. So he says, well, I don't know if I could do this. I said, well, then you don't have a buyer. So it was pretty prevalent in those days.
I can imagine. So you work closely with your husband, Joe, and he's the J in JNR Music World, which stands for Joe and Rachelle. Two things. I want to ask you, what is that like? And I know there's a lot of real estate couples who do that. What was it like for you? And also I want to ask you, how did you two arrive at this destination for your store?
Well, I think it's the best thing for a marriage if you have a good marriage. You're together, you understand each other's sides. What made it a great partnership was, though, we started the business together. I did not come into his business. I was not his secretary or anything like that. So we were equal. We enjoyed doing different things. He was more an operational person. I was more the face of the company, the negotiator. So we did different things. And this way we had a lot to talk about at night. It was just really terrific, and it helped the marriage extremely. What brought us here is my husband was an electrical engineer and worked in Tribeca. And I went to school at Polytech, which was one train stop away. And we looked at this area, we said, wow, this is a great area. Plus it was an area in those days that was closed Saturday, Sunday, which was very important to us.
Yes.
And it was really a 9 to 5 area. And we said, well, this is perfect. We love the park. We love the openness of the park. It was basically a man's area, and we sold technology, which was considered at the time, for the male to buy, not the female, which is now totally the opposite. And we said, this is a great block, and our first store was on this block.
Wow, incredible foresight given the incredible evolution of this area, which has changed so much for the better. And then, the music industry in the early days, it's obviously changed a lot. We've gone from cassettes and 8-tracks, I'm old enough to remember 8-tracks, to streaming music and live, and it's changed a lot. How do you perceive the music industry to be today versus what it was when you started in the music business?
It's totally different because there really isn't hard music to listen to. Everything is streamed. It was a better business, in my opinion, those days because people actually went to a retail store, actually touched, looked at the art, on an album or on a cassette or on a CD. got to meet the artist. I mean, at JNR, we used to host at least once a week an artist coming down. They did an in-store. They played some of their albums. So people got to meet the artist. It was a whole different feeling. I mean, it's great. The new technology is terrific, and yes, it's accessible all the time, but it doesn't have that same feel.
I think there's an incredible mention about JNR Music World that most people don't know about, and that is your affiliation with Apple.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we were a computer store, and Apple was not doing as well as Intel. And we really, our customers loved Apple. And we had a classical store, separate classical store, and those customers, the very artsy customer, loved the Apple. And we decided to make it a separate environment, the way we did our music. We had a separate jazz store, a separate classical store, so a separate consumer electronics store. We did an Apple store, a store within a store. And separate salespeople who really loved the product, and it was a gigantic hit. We became the #1 Apple store, single store in the country. And Steve Jobs came to the store, and he said, "Oh my God, this is unbelievable, and how your people just talk Apple and know Apple, and this is great." And a couple of years later, he called me up and he told me, "You know what, we're going to open up a store. It's not going to be competition. We're going to open it up in Soho, and don't worry about it. You know, it's 10 minutes away, but it's just going to be a showroom."
So Rachelle, being immersed in the music industry and the music business and privy to so many incredible experiences and concerts, et cetera, what would you say would be your most memorable, your favorite experience in that regard?
I have a few very memorable experiences. One was the intimate concerts that we were invited to that people usually didn't get a chance to see. So I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. To see Bruce Springsteen with just about 40 people in the room was unbelievable. And seeing Barbara Streisand, I mean, she was unbelievable, and it was all celebrities. There was maybe 30 people in the room. They put me next to President Clinton. And it was just, and she gave a little story about each time, you know, each song and where she was and her mental condition. It was just really, truly very, very unique. And that's the stuff I really enjoyed.
I'm sure, unforgettable. And then we're obviously not in your office now, very close to us from here, next door at 15. But there, I know there's a lot of photos, a lot of memorabilia that you hold dear to yourself.
Yes.
What would you say, I have a feeling I know the answer, but what would be the most iconic one that you have, or that's the most special to you?
The one that I think most people comment about is our Lady Gaga piano. It's a Roland baby grand piano that she autographed, that she played in concert. And I had met her before. And it's funny, not in the music end of the business, but the electronics end of the business. She came out with a monster earbud, and it was full of crystals and just really beautiful. And it's when Beats was so hot, and it was a Beats headphone. And she came out, there were 2 women invited to this press conference, she and myself. And I wore this proper suit, and you know, I thought I looked fine. She comes out in a totally see-through outfit. And I said to her, I said, "People aren't going to take you seriously." She goes, "Oh, yes, they will. Seeing me like this, they will take me seriously." And she was so smart, so well-spoken, really knew the technology behind the headphones. So I was very impressed.
That's a cool story for sure. I know that piano is amazing.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So as we sit here in the lobby, let's move to a little bit about the building. So it's amazing that you're able to stay attached to this building and really express your legacy and your love for this area and be part of 25 Park Row. And so when you were selecting architects, we all know that in new development in New York City, the selection of that architect has become very critical and important. So when you chose to work with Cook Fox, what drove that decision?
I didn't want a glass building. I interviewed a lot of architects, and I did not want an all-glass building. I wanted something that should look good right across the Woolworth building, that looks good in the park, that takes advantage of the park.
Part of the neighborhood.
Yes. Yeah. And meeting Rick, I just fell in love when he took out a rendering and he showed me a Juliet balcony. and the detail of the Juliet balcony. I said, oh my God, this is it. This is what I want. I made up my mind in 5 minutes, and we canceled all the other appointments.
With regards to the amenity spaces in this building, there's 110 residents in this building, which has a very much a boutique feel, given there's no more than 5 homes per floor. So we have a lot of amenities, almost 20,000 square feet. And talk about the pool, because there's some showstopper items in this building, but the pool is one of them.
The pool is magnificent, and it almost wasn't there. It's something I fought personally hard for, because I thought for this type of building you needed a pool. And Malone came up with this great idea of having all these beautiful mosaic tiles, something like a 1920s cruise ship. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, and I'm very happy with the work that he did on the amenity space.
Well, we're very happy that you pushed for that pool, because it is definitely a showstopper, as I mentioned. And you mentioned outdoor space too, because we have the common outdoor space in the building, but there is a large percentage of our residents here with private outdoor space and their own personal, and I know that's also...
I think that's what makes this building so unique. You go to other places and you see the terraces, and they're very cookie cutter. They're one after another, the same shape, the same size. Each one is very different, very unique. You can have a gigantic party, or you can have an intimate setting. So they're very unique, and people can really choose what they want. The really exciting part of it is really every single apartment is facing the park, and that's very, very unique. You're not looking into another building, and the views are just unbelievable. Every view is beautiful. You see all the way north, you see south, you see every single direction, and it's magnificent. Many apartments, you see water.
Exactly.
You know, so it's really special.
How do you feel about this area in terms of its evolution and where it's going? And we've endured some hard times over the last 20 years, and like, where is it going? There's obviously big changes here.
Oh, this has become an unbelievable area. It used to be, when we first moved in, like I said, it was Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5. It was the court system. It was Wall Street, basically Wall Street. Now it's totally different. It has evolved. It's 24/7. There are restaurants here. There are cultural institutions. There are museums. There's places to walk. You walk 5-10 minutes that way, you're on the water. You walk 10 minutes going in the other direction, you see the water. It's just, you can go every single day and see new things. It's a terrific area, and it's young. You see strollers, you see millennials, and it just has a certain vibe that you want to be here and be a part of it. You know, after 9/11, we were offered money to open up stores elsewhere. We said, no, we're staying here in Lower Manhattan. This is our home. This area is unbelievable. We're glad we stayed here on Park Row.
Well, we're glad you stayed here on Park Row too. And it's so thrilling to be able to have this time with you, and for you to share your insights and history of how you arrived here at 25 Park Row. And I can thank you for your time. It's a pleasure speaking with you, Rachelle.
My pleasure to be associated with this. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you.